Alright, what's going on, guys? It is your boy, Tiki2 you're back again here on JoyClicks. Make sure to go, again, leave a like and video if you enjoyed this video, as well as stay subscribed to JoyClicks to keep up with all the latest in gaming from Christian as well as myself from time to time. So, this video, I just wanted to go over, you already read the title, you guys have seen the thumbnail. We were talking a little bit about the Disintegration beta that happened last week. And, so, well, last week as of this recording, I don't know if you guys are watching it at a later point, but this is just, just my thoughts and my impressions on the overall beta that I had with this new game coming out of the co-creators of Halo. And so the first thing I want to note here, is that I do feel that this is a very interesting and bold move to make from the co-creators of Halo, as this is not an FPS. This is not anything I feel like what Halo looks like or what Destiny plays like. If we're talking about Bungie as a whole, this is definitely a whole new different direction that they are going in, and I appreciate the bold move. I really do. Appreciate and recognize the overall sidestep into a different genre, and I commend them for that, for just taking the chance and doing something different, because this is definitely a lot different than Halo. This is no Halo clone. This is no, game that you might see Bungie make or whatever. This is definitely their own way, and I commend them for that. And so the game overall, to me, I mean by game, I mean the beta, what I'm saying? Just keep in mind, this is a work in progress, right? So, I am going to somewhat point out some negative things about this beta, but obviously it's a beta, so it's a work in progress. Maybe there's still room for polish, and there obviously is still room for polish in the future, but for right now, this is what I thought about the Disintegration beta. And so to me, it felt a little bit janky and very much like a AA game, but not in the truly negative sense. It just reminded me of those hidden gems on the PlayStation Store that are free to play, like Blacklight Retribution or Warframe for a lesser extent, and like PlanetSide 2. They felt like that type of game where they're a little bit, above the tier of, I would say, like an indie game, and they have like a little bit less polish as you would expect from a AAA game. It felt somewhere in the middle, like it felt just like a mid-tier game that is still fun, and there's still fun to be had in the game, while still taking into account that kind of AA feel to the game, which is neither here or there. Again, it's a beta. Maybe the studio that the co-creators of Halo started is small. Not really 100% sure what they got going on there in terms of how big their employee size is and how many devs are working on this game, but nonetheless, that's just kind of how I felt about the game. It felt a little bit like a AA, Blacklight Retribution, Warframe type of game, at least to me. And so let's go into what you're actually doing in Disintegration, because you are essentially the god in the sky that is giving orders to your crew members on the ground, and they can do special attacks like a mortar strike or a concussion grenade to help you take other enemy crews out or other players out, as well as other objectives that they can capture as well. So you kind of command this little group of your crew, and they go out and do things for you, and you really got to pay attention to what they're doing and utilize them as well in battle, because you're going to really need them in a lot of different instances. And so you, being the god in the sky, you pilot this massive flying ship type of machine mech type of thing. And so that was very, very a horrible way of explaining it, but think like the Destiny 2 or Destiny 1 sparrows, but a lot more wide, and they're flying. Like, you can actually see your character, up on the flying mech ship as well. And so you kind of see him riding it kind of like a motorcycle, and that's kind of where you're at. And to me, it felt a lot like Titanfall, but we will get into that. But first, I gotta bring up, before I even, mistakenly forget it, are the beta's cosmetics. So I'm assuming that these cosmetics will be in the full game and they'll be expanded upon. The cosmetics in this game look really, really cool. My favorite was the Kingsguard appearance, which hopefully I'm showing clips on screen here of it, because it made the ships look like Trojan horses, and there was a really, really cool color scheme to it, and just overall look and design. There's a ton of other really, really cool ones, and I think that they are doing a very, very good job at the cosmetics of this game. I think they look fantastic. Obviously, this could mean that there could be microtransactions in the future, which, I mean, hey, as long as they're cosmetic only, I'm completely cool with that. I've never had an issue with cosmetic only microtransactions, so there looks to be a lot of really, really cool styles that they'll be putting on the crew appearances in this game, and so it looked really cool. I really did enjoy that aspect of the game as well. So one thing that I did not like about this game, right, are the controls. I don't know what it is. I was I had about I want to say 2 or 3 hours by the time the beta was up. And so I had like 2 big sessions. My first session was about an hour long. My other session was a little bit longer than that, about hour and a half, hour 45, closer to 2 hours as well. And so I total about 3 hours in, and the controls never really felt natural to me, right? To go up and to go down in terms of altitude of your actual mech ship, it was L1 to go up and L2 to go down. And so on paper, it looks like that makes sense, but logically speaking, it just did not function with me. I didn't look into different control schemes. Maybe there was, maybe there will be in the full game, but I never could really get a grasp of the controls and never could get a rhythm of it, making, it just all kind of feel like it belongs. Maybe it'll get better over time. Maybe I needed a little more time to get into the controls, but typically I really am pretty okay with adapting to different controls from a game-to-game standpoint. This one just broke my brain. So hopefully there's other control schemes, but I did not love the way the overall controls were, but I did like some of the combat. I felt the combat was very much, to me, felt like Titanfall, which is a very, very good thing. I love Titanfall 2's combat. I've never played Titanfall 1, don't have an Xbox console, but playing Titanfall 2 multiplayer a ton, I did love the combat in that, and it definitely does feel like a Titanfall type of combat in terms of you being this big heavy mech, and you gotta really strategize, going into cover when you're taking a lot of damage, because you can't really hit R3 and sprint out or do some slide mechanic. Like, you can do a boost mechanic by pressing X, which is really nice, but you are definitely going to want to take advantage of cornering and take advantage of popping in and out of cover and stuff like that, and that's all in Titanfall. So just having that basis of playing Titanfall and bring it in to Disintegration, it really did make it a nice little kind of transitional period for me, and just it maybe remind me of Titanfall a lot. And you have, of course, a wide array of different weapons like machine guns, seeker rockets, burst rifles, semi-auto weapons as well. And to me, getting a kill on the enemy felt super satisfying overall. It was very fun to have like those cat and mouse chases where you tag them with a few rockets, then switch to your primary, which might be an LMG, and you finish them off with that. That was usually my kind of 1-2 punch, and figuring out other people's 1-2 punch, where I know one where they would hit me with this like high powered sniper-esque type of weapon on the other opponent's side. They would hit me with that and then spray me with either like a barrage from their crew members, whether it be like a mortar strike, or they would spray me with a SMG type weapon. It was very cool to see other people's strategy and really kind of play like this cat and mouse game overall, because there were some engagements that I had that were super long, and it was essentially like going almost like around the whole map, dude chasing me, I'm trying to regen as much health as I can and stuff like that, and kind of keep me up on top. And so very, very fun on those engagements and stuff like that. And I felt like, to also comment on this, the maps very, very well designed. We only got a few maps in there. There wasn't a ton, I think around 2 or 3, but overall I definitely did enjoy all the maps. They're very nice laid out, and they offered a lot of different abilities and not abilities, but a lot of advantages and chances to be able to dash into cover very easily no matter where you are in the map. So really cool that they had the maps really play into the overall kind of game and the whole meta game of that cat and mouse chase and stuff like that. But overall, even though I did have fun in terms of having combat and killing enemies and stuff like that over time, coupled with the overall kind of jank that the beta had and the clunkiness of the controls and stuff like that, it kind of left a somewhat like meh taste in my mind. Taste in my mouth, excuse me. But overall, I feel like the only thing that could get me to double down and buy this would be mainly the single player, because I want to know, why am I riding on this giant mech? Why am I controlling a crew? Why, what is the lore behind this world? And of course I know that Halo has intense and very, very wide lore in its games as well, so I'd love to see what they do with this new IP and what they could tell story-wise, because if you see on the beta menu, there was a section for single player, so there definitely will be a single player campaign, and that I would love to see if they show off some really, really cool stuff in terms of trailers leading up to release. But the multiplayer didn't really wow me. The overall modes were what you've already seen before in different games, like domination types, as well as capture the flag, etc. All that was just very much cookie cutter in the multiplayer, but I did find the gameplay, and specifically, having those one-on-one combats with another enemy to be really, really fun. But overall, I felt like, the game's jankiness and just overall type of feel to the game wasn't really vibing with me, especially with the controls as well. But I do love the cosmetics. That's another positive in this as well. And like, even though the game kind of lacks that AAA quality and type of just that overall polish, I feel like, again, it's a beta, so I do understand that. But I do feel like there is fun to be had in Disintegration when the full game comes out, in terms of the overall single player, if that's great, as well as just combat in general. So I feel like there's enough in Disintegration based off the beta to at least keep eyes on it, right? I don't know if I'm going to get it day one, but I did have enjoyment in there that could maybe sway my opinion to be able to buy it, especially for the single player. If they show me some cool stuff in the lore and the story for this game, I'm definitely buying it day one. But nonetheless, it's still a work in progress, but I do feel like there may be something great here with Disintegration. So let me know if you guys have played the beta, what your thoughts on it, what do you guys feel about these like mech type of games like Titanfall and now this new IP Disintegration from the co-creators of Halo. Let me know what your thoughts down in the comments below, and make sure also while you were down there to check out the links in the description for the JoyClicks Twitter, as well as I'm sure there's a link for podcasts and stuff like that as well down below. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe to support Christian and everyone here at JoyClicks. So thank you all for watching, and as always, we don't have an outro because none of you guys have commented yet. Let us know what the outro is, because we've been searching for it on JoyClicks Gamescast. No one has told us. Let me know what you guys want to say as the outro. So thank you for watching, and as always, fill in the blank because we don't know.